Hey there, and welcome to Astrology for the People. This is for the full moon lunar eclipse in Leo on Saturday the 11th of February at 10:34 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And wow, what a start to 2017 eclipse season, guys. Not only do we have our lunar eclipse, but in relationship to the sun and the moon, we have a grand trine and a kite. Now there's also actually an extension on this kite, a second point, so it's sometimes referred to as an envelope, which is interesting because there are definitely some divine messages being delivered right now, with Venus sextile Mercury as well, and some real potential for communication that can deepen our relationships and really further our endeavors in a positive way. So I'm going to explore this trine for you. I'm also going to go into an interesting aspect building between Mars and Pluto, and we will explore what is ahead of us, not only for the next couple of weeks, but really for the next 6 months, because this eclipse and the one to follow, the solar eclipse to follow in 2 weeks time, really do define the next 6-month period until we come into the second eclipse season. So looking forward to diving into that for you. And I have some exciting news to share as well. So stick around, beauties. Let's get stuck in. Cool, so what I pulled up on the screen just there for you is actually an image of this chart. So this is what I read off each fortnight when I connect in for you guys. Obviously there's an intuitive element that comes through as well, but this is kind of my map of the skies, I suppose, and I'm sure you could see there the incredible triangular kite formation that's taking place in between the sun and the moon, and Saturn and Uranus. So even if you just notice the shape, I know of course the planetary symbols can be a little bit complex and confusing at first, but if you did miss it, jump back and have a quick look at the incredible kite configuration that's there. This is like an extension on our grand trine that also really channels that energy, in this case towards the sun. And with the sun in Aquarius, there's a real community coming together that has the potential to unfold at the moment. But it's happening in new and unexpected ways. And the internet's really serving us in our ability to do this at the moment. So a lot of people who are striving to be more heart-centered can be quite against technology, but it's really important that we recognize that, like anything, like money, like business, it can be used in a way that's constructive or it can be used in a way that's destructive. And what we're seeing at the moment is the potential for a well-organized revolution taking place. So this is a revolution in consciousness, and we're seeing it show up in the physical world as well, obviously with the political events that are happening. While they may look negative on the surface, what it is creating is a lot more reflection amongst the general population than we're used to seeing over the last few years. So I wanted to connect you with that side of it, but I also really want to drop in and explore the Leo energy, where the moon is resting for this lunar eclipse. So in a lunar eclipse, we see a real letting go of the past, of old fears and emotions, and an opportunity to prepare to move forward on the solar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse doesn't always come first. Sometimes the solar eclipse precedes it, but in this case, we have a letting go that needs to occur before we can really start to solidify these visions that we've been feeling into and experimenting with over the last month or so. So as far as on a personal level, on a business level, this is a really incredible time, not only to release what's holding you back, but also to really utilize that creative energy of Leo that's present. So we see Saturn, who really helps us to organize, get our duckies in a row, do the hard work required and be patient, in harmonious aspect with the sun, our creative force, with Uranus, who's allowing us to break free and take quantum leaps, who's giving us these incredible streaks of inspiration. I've been experiencing this myself, and what I'm going to share with you guys shortly actually only came to me last night. So it's incredible to see it having come to fruition in one day. So there is an incredible creative potential at this time that we can lean into. Now, one of the beautiful things about this chart is we have this harmonious aspect of the Grand Trine that's really supporting us to make things happen and to let go of those things that aren't serving us. Meanwhile, we do have a square building. So we have a square between Mars and Pluto, and Jupiter's also squaring Pluto. So, you know, on one level, this kind of supports the dynamic because too much trine is not a good thing, just like too much of anything. And to have a tense or a challenging aspect in there really can kind of chunk things out a bit, you know. It stops us getting complacent. It means that we do work for what we achieve, and so we don't take it for granted. So in that regard, the square is really exciting. As far as the emotional component, it's a little bit challenging, you know. Mars square Pluto is irritable. Jupiter square Pluto says expansion is it's conditional, you know. So expansion is only possible if we do things in a new way. Transformation is required here. The old way is not going to work anymore. And so you may be experiencing this in your life where something that you've defaulted to, be it a pattern in your relationships or a way of working, is stopping working for you. It's ceasing to be constructive for you. Whether you're finding that you're getting burnt out adrenally from working too hard and you're needing to find a more balanced way to express your creative energy, or whether you've had the tendency to be quite controlling and dominating in your relationships and now you're finding that your partner's not responding in the same way. There's a whole host of ways that this can show up. So if you'd like to explore what's going on for you personally, you can have a look at the house that this lunar eclipse falls in on your chart. So you can bring up your chart and have a look where Leo is in that chart, which houses are governed by Leo in your chart, and you can see in particular the areas of your life that are going to be impacted the most strongly. The houses resting where Leo, ruled by Leo and also ruled by Aquarius, are going to be the dominant ones here because they're receiving a lot of the energy from this kite formation. So feel free to dive into that yourself. Feel free to get in touch with me if you're wanting to have a bit more of an in-depth look at how this is going to land for you specifically. So just like everything's coming out very fast today. It's been a big exciting day. So the other thing that I wanted to really speak with you about was the Mercury-Venus sextile. Now, a sextile is a harmonious aspect, but it represents potentiality. So it's really not a given. You need to utilize this positive opportunity to make the most of the aspect. And Mercury sextile Venus, this is very much communication in relationships. It's also very much abundance in business. And so those two things both have a lot of potential right now. In relationships specifically, with the Mars-Pluto stuff going on as well, I encourage you to get in touch with what triggers you and start a conversation about that in a way that's really owned. So rather than blaming and making it about the other person, having a look at what's triggering you and why, any needs that aren't being met, and then reaching out and making that inquiry as well. I've had a really beautiful process with my partner where I'm coming to understand better how I can nourish him, how I can be not different to who I am, but mindful of how my energy is received at different times and how I can get my needs met in a way that's not intrusive. So I encourage you to connect in with that because there's a level of ownership that's available to us now as well, which brings with it an empowerment, a true grounded empowerment that allows us to realize that we really are creators of our own destiny here. And where previously we might have believed that we had to wait for other people to get out of our way, most of the time the only one in our way is us. So to connect in with that is really supportive. We do have Chiron square Saturn as well, so there's still a very strong potential here for us to get in our own way. So I encourage you to get whatever support you need to work with that, because the potential to create amazing things here is enormous. the next 2 weeks with this eclipse and then the solar to come are really, really powerful, but in a very creative and practical way. In a very kind of, you know, I wouldn't call Saturn and Uranus worldly planets, but in the way of, we need to make this revolution happen now. We actually need to create the physical, tangible change in our lives. And if we've been getting caught on the merry-go-round of analyzing and talking the talk and thinking about it a lot and knowing what we need to know, but not actually successfully implementing that change in a way that supports us in our lives, it's time to break that pattern. It's time to do whatever it takes to get in this cosmic flow, to ride this wave, because it is quite an incredible wave at that. So, oh, goodness me. To balance all of that out, one more piece for you guys to sink your teeth into, haha, Leo teeth, is while there's a lot of potential for great work to happen right now, particularly with the really Saturnian influence in this chart, Leo also governs play and creativity, and it's super important that we balance that in our lives, because what play and creativity offer us is inspiration that we can't access in any other way. So if we're constantly working and operating in a linear manner, we're going to be shutting off the right side of the brain and what we need to really access that genius state that Uranus represents. If we can get creative and we can get playful, that opens up all of those channels. We can start thinking in a more divergent way. We can get outside of the box that we've created for ourselves, and you'll discover that you're a lot more productive if you take that time, yeah, to defrag, but also to self-connect, to connect with the inner child, the child energy, a child's brain, a child's creative energy far exceeds an adult's. So when we can connect in with that, we can really utilize that, and we can help channel it and structure it with the adult gifts and abilities that we do have to create something really magnificent and really aligned, really connected for us, really heart connected, as opposed to something heady and, you know, goals that aren't actually nourishing us and are just focused on, you know, following the rule book that we were given. It's really time to throw that out, but also create a new one. You know, we can't exist without rules and boundaries, but it doesn't mean that we need to follow those which are outdated. We need to start working together cooperatively in community, Aquarius, to create a new rule book. And through conversation with each other, we can learn what works and what doesn't. And this is where relationships are a really powerful gateway for us at the moment, to receive feedback on what's working and how we can work together. So life's more fun. Life's more fun. Leo loves a bit of fun. So, goodness me, that all felt like it came out in one big rush. And it's like my tongue couldn't actually keep up with what wanted to come through. It's been a big, exciting, happening day today, which actually brings me to what I want to share with you guys. So this has all happened since 7 p.m. last night, when this inspiration landed, and just everything, the whole thing got created today, everything got set up today. It's been huge. So I'd known for a while that I wanted to offer a free online event that really was about the way of the awakened woman, which is this incredible, I guess, context that I've been exploring and developing for how to make life magical. How, as a woman, I've been able to make my own life truly magical, and the key principles that exist around that. So I was reflecting last night on how I wanted to bring this into the world, and my eyes were really drawn to one point on my big chart that I have on my wall around living courageously. And all of a sudden, it just all landed at once. So I am stoked to announce that on the 20th of February, so that's not this Monday, but next Monday, I'm going to be offering a free webinar on the life-changing magic, the life-changing power. What is it? Goodness me. The life-changing, let's go with magic. The life-changing magic of self-love. So really, this is for you if you find yourself on that merry-go-round of self-improvement where I spent a lot of years, where things are happening on a mental level, but you're not actually feeling empowered or embodied or able to implement that in a lasting way. If you find that you're feeling anxious and you're constantly aware of how far you still have to go on this journey, and contentment and peace feels like it's a long way off, and even though you're digging and digging, it's you know, it's starting to get overwhelming. And this is what I'm wanting to support with, because I can relate so deeply to that space. I can really understand that space, and what I'm wanting to support women in particular to connect with at the moment is how we've arrived, how where we are right now is actually completely lovable, and that not meaning that there's not space for us to continue to grow. In fact, the more we connect to self-love, the more clearly we're able to see ourselves, the more parts of ourselves we're able to access without fear. The more space we're able to create in ourselves and our lives, the more creative potential we're able to access, because we're not afraid of the parts of ourselves that we're trying to remove or block out. So it's really about claiming our wholeness. It's about claiming our power. So I'm going to be offering some insights around that, some techniques and some self-healing techniques to really access that self-love space, to start using self-love on a cellular level to really accelerate your process in a way that's integrated, in a way that's not overwhelming, in a way where you're able to feel complete and patient and okay with things as they are, moment by moment, while continuing to grow. So yeah, I'm really excited to offer this. I'm also going to be offering a transmission, so we'll do an energetic download as part of the call to really support the process for you. There is some potent energy work that can be done with this incredible vessel that is technology, so I invite you to come along and drop in for that. I'm so excited about the potential of it. I've got no doubt that it's going to be beautiful and life-changing, and I'm so grateful to be able to take this experience and share it and help other women in particular. You know, if you're a guy and you're feeling really called, come along by all means. I'm finding myself working more with women lately. But if you feel like you're needing more self-love in your life and less self-judgment, then join me on Monday the 20th. You will find the link to register below this video. I would love, love, love to see you there. Cool. Thank you so much for joining me today. Enormous, enormous, enormous love. And don't hesitate to reach out. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe if you know of someone who would benefit from this video or from the webinar. And I really look forward to connecting with you soon. So much love. See you in a fortnight. Bye.